Blog Talk Radio.
Sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
And liftoff on another Saturday here on the Psychic Talk Radio Network. You are listening to Tarot Today Radio. I'm Dax Carlisle, coming to you live from Tucson, Arizona. I'm the founder of the Tarot Guild, the international organization for tarot lovers, students, and professionals since 2004. And I'm also the executive producer of Psychic Talk and a tarot advisor, numerologist, and professional hypnotist. And, of course, joining me, as always, the fabulous Mary Brown, my co-host here on Tarot Today. She is a rockhound, crystal keeper, certified tarot master, crystal Reiki master, a producer here on Psychic Talk Radio, and the vice president for certification for the Tarot Guild. And here she is, the fabulous Mary Brown. Hey, Mary.
Hey, Dex. Hey, everybody.
Happy
Glad
Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Our favorite show of the week, because we get to just let our hair down and just relax a little, take some phone calls, chat with all you folks out there. It is a live call-in show, open lines all show long, and you can call in for a mini reading. You can call in to talk to us about tarot and numerology and Reiki and crystals and angels, and I mean the list just goes on and on and on. Whatever you have a burning question about, if it deals with psychic and or energy healing or the power of the mind, hypnosis, NLP, EFT, we have it covered between Mary and I, and we'd love to chat with you about that, or call in for a mini reading. And the phone number is 714-816-4628. Press 1 on your dial pad as soon as you get through, so we know you want to be live on air. 714-816-4628. You can also join us in the chat room on the Tarot Guild website as well. And that is thetarotguild.com/chat. Or if you're there on the website, thetarotguild.com, the chat button is in the nav bar at the top of any page on the far right side there. Just pop into the main chat with us. You can ask questions in there, chat with us about the show, and even request a mini reading right from the chat room. We would love to chat with you, yes. Wow. Oh, the only thing I missed, Mary, in your long laundry list of things is working with the Fae.
Yes.
Don't you have what's the actual certificate name? Title.
It's so funny. I've got a couple, but yeah, I'm a certified fairyologist, which I love that because it's
I couldn't remember that.
Unusual.
Fairyologist, that's what it is.
Fairyologist, but I'm also a fairy shaman practitioner. So I mean, there's a lot of different ways to work with the Fae, a lot of different approaches to it, and it's wonderful. Great connections and great ways to, connect with nature spirits. I think that sometimes, people are thrown off by fairy or the Fae, not the one, not you and me, not people that are indoctrinated, people that know what's up.
Are you talking about Tinkerbell? What are you talking about here?
Yeah, exactly. So if you explain to them, like, okay, we're still on planet Earth here. We're still, we're connecting with nature, and really by connecting with the Fae, they are the closest to it,
Mhm. And I wanted to bring that up because you're going to be our special guest on the Friday show. My co-host is Dr. Rose Wilkerson, and it was actually Dr. Rose's idea to have Mary on to talk about Fae folk because we're going into March. It's going to be St. Paddy's Day. Now, of course, the Irish are not the only people that have the Fae, but they're known, the British Isles in general are known for the fairies and the Fae. Yeah. And so she said, hey, wouldn't that be a great idea to have Mary come on March 20th? It'll be right after St. Paddy's Day, and we'll talk about Fae folk, The Friday before the 13th is Friday the 13th, right? Which people think of unlucky. But we decided to talk about expecting luck on Friday the 13th, which is 4 days before St. Paddy's Day, where people think of, the luck of the Irish and things like that, So we figured we'd have you on the Saturday after. And so we've got St. Paddy's Day and March all covered there. I can't wait. Awesome
and
stuff.
Me
and we got a
either.
great show for you today, too. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
How to
We're going to
shuffle
be talking
a tarot
about
deck.
Yeah, I know. And, and it's so funny because there's a lot more to it than, people think. I think, they think shuffling is just, you just shuffle, blah, blah, blah. No. There's a lot more to dig into with it because it really depends on a lot of things, right? It depends on what your approach to tarot is. I think number one,
that's a big part of it because there's some people that they insist that if they're doing an in-person reading, that the client has to shuffle the cards themselves. Then there's people that are, like myself, that are 180% opposite from that say, no, you never let anybody shuffle your cards. And there's various reasons for that. And then, some people read reversals. Some people don't. So you have to shuffle in a certain way. There is a lot more to it than at first glance.
Absolutely. But, hey, before we get into all of that, I wanted to remind people, if they haven't already, to join our Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group. You can find us on Facebook. You can also go to psychictalk.net/Facebook, and it'll take you right there. And I post a card of the day on there every day. And today's card of the day was from the Oracle of Angels deck by Mario Duque. And it's this beautiful card that's all about learning. So whether you're taking a course or taking a class at college or on your own, or look, we're all students of life. So today's a day, I think, to learn something new and kind of, think about the lessons we've already learned. Sometimes we look at our experiences and we think like, oh, wow, what was that for? And oftentimes, it was a lesson learned.
Absolutely. And, I wanted to talk about the numerology because I don't know if you realized it, but did you realize that today is 2/2/2020? That's a lot of twos.
It is a lot of twos. So what's it mean?
And it's significant. We just went into 2020, which is actually, 0 is an enhancing energy in numerology. It's not an actual number. It's actually the void out of which all existence and numbers and everything comes from. Think of the Fool in tarot. And so really you take the zeros away and you got the 2 and the 2. It's the master builder number energy. This is really the year unlike any other, any year that's a 4 year, because we're in a world year of 4. Obviously, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 equals 4. So we're in a 4 year, which is structure. Okay, so every time we go through the cycle and we get to the 4 year structure, but only occasionally is it a 22-4, Mary. And so this is the year to really establish the foundations and build things that, last a lifetime, that bring abundance into your life in multiple areas, You might be focusing, like I'm focusing more on career and things like that, but other people might be focusing on interpersonal relationships, home life, whatever that is, So, let me give an example, not, because normally I'm talking about career and starting a business. This is a great year to set that foundation, start a new business. But what about something that's totally unrelated? Okay, so your house. This is the year to find the perfect place and buy a new house, move to a new house or a new place, as an example, where you're going to be there for either many, many, many years or perhaps even the rest of your life if you're old like me. Yeah. And then today, so, that's the whole year, but now we're in February. And we're still kind of in the beginning of the year, and it's kind of setting the stage. We've had a lot of days with a lot of 2s, and today is the big day. Today is the massive 2 energy where the date is actually the 22nd, so it's the Master Builder Day, 22, 4 structure. This is the day to really establish and create your foundations. And you got 2, 2, 2, and 2020, so you got 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And 2 is, relationships and partnerships and cooperation and getting along with other people. It's going away from the phallic energy of the 1 and moving into a space of cooperation, a more feminine dynamic, in the yin-yang kind of thing there. And, today is just, really, really big for relationships. It could be interpersonal, romantic, or friendship relationships. But also, the big one for me is partnerships. Partnering with folks, in your business or starting a business, setting the foundation with that 22 energy. It's just fantastic, leading to great abundance in your life. Speaking of great abundance, I pulled a card of the day and got the 10 of Cups. So there you go.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love that card.
Great abundance coming in. Yeah, so that's what I have for the numerology of the day and the tarot card of the day as well.
Awesome. Seems like a pretty good day all around.
That's right. And so if you're calling into the show, I see a bunch of people have called in. And some people haven't raised their hands. They might just be listening to the show. But if you didn't catch the beginning when I mentioned about pressing 1, to get into the caller queue, when you dial in, you click 1 on your dial pad. Or if you're Skyping in, open your Skype app, open the dial pad, press 1. That way we know you want to be live on air. It takes you from the bottom of the list to the top into the caller queue and puts you in the order that you called in, and we take the calls that way. And it's 714-816-4628. Remember to join us in the chat room as well, thetarotguild.com/chat. I see Mary in there. Rini Rose, one of our newest members, newest premium members. She's in the certification process right now, Mary. And,
awesome.
And Sharona Rapsey. Sharona's in there too. Hey, hi, Sharona. Sharona's got a show tomorrow that Mary here is going to be telling you about the upcoming shows at the bottom of the hour. Okay, so about the topic, how to shuffle a tarot deck, I think the first place to start is who's shuffling the deck? Who's shuffling? And a lot of readers in person, they want the client to shuffle the deck. The idea behind that is them getting their energy into the deck. And so from that perspective, it makes perfect sense, from that perspective. And so if they're shuffling, the problem with that, though, is what about if they don't know how to shuffle a tarot deck and haven't listened to this radio episode where we tell you how to shuffle a tarot deck? See, that's the problem I have with it, Mary. And, so for me, it's not an energetic thing. It's not that I believe or disbelieve the passing on of energy from a person to the deck or anything like that. That's not what it is. It's a practical situation, and there's actually about 3 points to that practicality. Number one, most people don't know how to shuffle a tarot deck properly. That's why we're doing this radio show. You don't want your client fumbling around trying to shuffle the deck when you want them to be doing what? Thinking about the question. You want them to have in mind what they're there for and be putting their thoughts and energy and their subconscious and be concentrating on what the question is for the reading. You don't want them trying to figure out how to shuffle a tarot deck. Number two, tarot decks are very expensive sometimes. I mean, if you have an artist's edition of a deck, we're talking $100, $200, $300 deck. And you don't want an inexperienced person trying to shuffle that. They're going to bend your cards and chip your cards and tear your cards. And by the way, when they came out of the bathroom, did they wash their hands? There's a lot of things to consider here. There's a lot of things to consider. Oh, and the other thing is, I am the opposite on the energy. For me, it's all your perspective on what a tarot reading is and how it's functioning. If someone's coming to me as the tarot reader, the professional, to do a reading for them, okay, the deck is there for me. It's my energy that needs to be in the deck, not the client. I am the exact opposite of people that, want people to shuffle the deck. I want only my energy in that deck. I'll have additional decks with me that I can just hand. Oh yeah, sure, play with that all you want. I don't do readings with that deck. You see, and if you haven't washed your hands, I don't care. Okay, my actual very expensive my very expensive reading deck that I actually use, no one's ever touched with their hands besides me. Okay, yeah. So that's my thoughts on, the very beginning of this. Who's shuffling the deck, right? So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm kind of, similar to you in that one. No, I do not want somebody else's energy in my deck. I go to great lengths to keep my decks charged and cleared of any fragments of people's energy. I feel like there's enough energy just from the person sitting there, or even if you're talking on the phone with them, you're getting their energy. Whether you recognize it or not, they're coming to you. I mean, they're aiming right at you with their energy, and that, and that's fine, but yeah, my cards, no, I don't want them touching my cards. And what's funny is, similar to what you were talking about, I remember it was like last year or maybe the year before, but, Cooch Daniels, great tarot author, and one of our members of our Psychic Talk family. She was doing like a public reading. I think it was like an event, and somebody she gave her cards to them to shuffle, and they cut themselves on the card and like a paper cut, and bled all over her cards and ruined her deck. And so it was a deck.
Oh my God! There
right.
You go. That's my proof right there, right?
Is that a nightmare or what? And what was funny was it wasn't like it was like the Voyager deck, but it was the first edition of the Voyager deck, and consequent editions they changed the size of the cards, and so luckily I had a Voyager deck, the first edition that I didn't use, and so I sent that to her to help her replace it, because otherwise she wouldn't have been able to replace it, and she sent me her book in exchange. But man, no, thank you. Just because you let somebody shuffle your cards, no. I'm not doing that. I don't want them to be all grimed up and bent and everything like that. I'll bend them myself, So that's how I feel about it when it comes to like who's shuffling the deck. Now I do get it,
Yep.
and I also think again it's your approach to tarot. Some people feel that that's a necessary component. They, I've had people tell me like, oh, I can't, I couldn't do, readings on the phone because they can't shuffle the cards, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of one of the bonuses, right? Like
exactly.
So bizarre, but we have our reasons, right? For these different things. So, but that's where I stand on it.
That's right. And of course, since I started doing the radio shows 10 years ago, I started using some digital programs on my phone and on the computer to do the readings on the shows. And I love it so much that, most of my readings are long distance via Skype or something like that. And so I just have my program up here. And as far as shuffling, you push one button and it shuffles the deck. And because it's an algorithm, a computer mathematical algorithm shuffling, quote unquote, the deck, you get actually a more randomized, proper shuffle than you can do with your physical hands. So most of the time people, I'm doing read for, not only can they not shuffle the deck because they're not, here with me, but also it's great because they don't even know that I'm not using a physical deck, because I have my physical deck sitting here, but I don't actually use it. I push a button and I pull the cards up, and it works fabulously. I think we did a whole show on that once. Can you read with apps?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes. I've been doing it for 10 years. With 10,000 readings, for people over the air. So yeah, I'm the living proof that you can use an app to do it.
You're the poster child for tarot apps.
That's right.
No,
that's right. But in person, I like to use the deck, of course, because people like to look at the pretty pictures, and that's part of the whole the whole draw to it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of the whole experience. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think the second thing, besides, who's actually shuffling the deck, which, at least for Mary and I, we know who's shuffling the deck. It's always going to be us.
Yeah, it's us.
It's us. I thought of one other reason, which is actually feeds into what my next point. Another reason why you don't let the other person, another reason why you don't let the client shuffle the deck is because they don't know whether you use reversals or not, which is point number 2. Do you use reversals? Yes. So you see, you can shuffle the deck in such a way that you always get upright images, with the very, very rare accidental reversal, which then could actually maybe be significant. But the way I read, I don't use reversals. I want all my cards to always be upright, and I shuffle certain ways so that is always the case. The cards are always upright, you see. And I've had that happen to me, and it was not that big of a deal, but one time when I was, just getting started doing readings, it was, 20-some years ago, and I can't even remember. I think I was in San Francisco maybe at the time, and we're at a coffee house, and the client wanted to shuffle the deck, and so I let them. Mm-hmm. But they shuffled it in such a way that half the deck or a third of the deck or something like that ended up reversed. So as I'm laying the cards out, I'm turning the cards, and of course they're
seeing all these reversals.
Yes, yeah, because I don't use reversals, so I'm turning the cards, and then the client's freaking out because they've watched too much television and they think that all readers use reversals. And like, why are you turning the cards? It's like, because I don't use reversals. And I had to go through a whole 20-minute speech of why I don't use reversals to get to the damn reading. Okay, so all of this is why you don't. This is why you don't let the client shuffle the deck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, it's not that there's a right or wrong way to do it. I think the biggest thing to me when it comes to, it's just like the biggest thing to me when it comes to shuffling a tarot deck is like what feels right to you, what feels natural, what feels, normal for you. If you have a normal, if you have a normal setting and you feel like, okay, because I feel like really, when I'm doing readings, I feel like I'm in a light alpha state, and I feel like the shuffling is part of the process of achieving that state. There's something meditative about it, don't you think?
It's creating a narrow focus. I'm putting on my hypnotherapist hat here. As a hypnotist, what you're doing is you are focusing singularly, and what that does is it creates it allows you to slip into that light alpha state.
Yeah. So I think that's for me, that's another reason. I think that would be, I don't know, I think it would be weird. Now, it's funny because it's like I really am mostly only that way about not letting anybody, shuffle my tarot decks. I'm not that way so much when it comes to certain oracle decks, especially angel cards.
Oh, that's
I think it's actually, I think it's actually more fun to have them pick it, because a lot of times if I do public readings, I'll take a couple angel card decks that have messages written on the bottom of them. So that way, I don't know, it just seems to be more meaningful to the client in a sense. At the end of the reading, if they pulled an angel card themselves and they can read the message, it seems to be more of a profound experience.
That makes sense, especially if it's like a single draw anyway. They're just pulling a card. You spread the card. In fact, the banner for today's show, has an individual. They've shuffled the cards and then they've already put them on the table and spread them out so that the client can choose the cards, so to speak. And by the way, there are ways without shuffling to get your client involved in the process. For instance, you can do the shuffling as far as, the rifling or the hand over hand or the different methods of shuffling. And then you can put the deck down, break it up into 3-4 piles, tell the client, pick a pile. They put their finger on the top of the pile they want. You grab that, you put that on the top of all the other piles, and that's what you start reading off of that pile that's on the top of the deck.
Yeah.
Another way of doing it is what we just said. If you look at the banner for today's show, where you spread the cards out and you tell them, choose 3 cards, or choose 6 cards, or choose 1 card, or however, whatever the reading style you're doing or the spread you're using. So you can get them involved, and they do sort of touch the deck, because they can put their finger on the top of the pile, or they're pulling the cards out, and they are their cards because they chose them and pulled them out themselves, kind of thing. So there's a lot to this, and it's not it's there's no right or wrong to it. Okay, so we want to give you a lot of different options here. Go ahead, Mary.
Oh, you popped into my head that a couple times. I don't know if she does it all the time, but Maria G. Moss, another one of our hosts that hosts the Angelic Realms show, I've seen her do a thing where, she'll shuffle her cards herself and she'll tell the client to tell her when to stop shuffling. And then that's like where she starts the reading from. So that's another fun way to do it.
Yes, a lot of people do that on radio shows, but you can also do it in person too. You could shuffle the deck, and then you could be either rifling or you could be doing like hand over hand, and you could say, okay, tell me when to stop shuffling, and then that's where you start from, like that. And I always cut the deck in half myself anyway, because I call that cutting to the heart of the matter. So I cut the deck in half. So I'm picking up half of the deck off the top, and that's a good place, actually. What I'll do is I have the full deck in one pile, and my thumb and my middle finger, my other fingers are on the other side of it, and I'm kind of going up and down the height of the stack, right? So I'm going up and down, and I tell them, tell me where to stop, and then when they say stop, that's where I cut the deck in half. And then the card, now that I've lifted that half up, the card on the bottom of that half is the card that's the heart of the matter, and I put that card aside, and then I take the half that's still on the table, I put the one that's in my hand down, pick up the cards on the table, put that half on top of the other part that I put down, because that's where they told me to stop. That's where I'm going to start pulling cards from. And so I pull cards off the top of the deck right there, because that's where they told me to start. Plus, I also got the heart of the matter, and sometimes I'll look at the heart of the matter card first prior to the reading. Other times I will wait till we're done, or we've gone through a couple of spreads or something before I bring up the heart of the matter card. Typically, and this is really funny, is like you can go through a whole reading, and then when you get around to flipping over the heart of the matter card, actually everything you needed to know for the entire reading is in that one card. That happens to me all the time. It's hilarious, and that's why I call it, cutting to the heart of the matter, on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like cutting to the chase, basically. Yeah. And I would say this, there are so many, different types of tarot decks out there, and there are some that are, shaped differently. And so, that does, like, when you have a round deck, like, say, the Shining Angels Tarot or the Mother Peace Tarot or the, the Chalice deck, I think, is the other one. But there's a few round decks out there. And so, like, sometimes the shape of the cards, too, affect, like, whether you can riffle shuffle them or whether you have to do hand over hand. And then there's some people that'll just, like, mix them all around on their table.
Oh, and there's also the effect of the coating that the manufacturer put on the deck. There is the card stock. We're talking about the thickness of the individual cards, whether they, and all of that comes into play as to whether the deck slides well, shuffles, easily, or if it's more difficult. And if you have a more difficult deck to shuffle, you can just lay the deck down and cut it into several piles, and then, randomly pull the piles back together, then do it again, then do it again, then do it again, and you can get a pretty good randomization that way. And then, you mentioned the chaos method, and I always recommend, be really careful with the chaos method, because you can mess up the cards, you can get them dirty too. What you always want to use a spread cloth. You want to, and for this particular method, you need a very large spread cloth. For the way I shuffle, I have a very small, relatively small spread cloth, but you want a really big one, and you're just going to lay the cards out face down on the table, and you're going to push them away from each other, pushing them in every possible direction, and then you're just going to move it around. It's almost like making a finger painting with a 4-year-old. You're pushing them all over the place, and you're moving your hands, and you're mixing it up really, really, really good. And then you start pulling the cards in. You start pulling them in, and closer and closer and closer, and you're rebuilding the pile till you finally get it back into a deck form. And that is a really great method of shuffling the deck if you use reversals, because you will get reversals on this. And the other thing that I like about it, the other way to do it is you split the deck into 4 piles, and you turn one of the piles, or you split it into 3 piles and turn one of the piles, depending on if you want 25% reversals, 33% reversals. That's how you do it. But there's something about it that is, what's the word for it? It's just not realistic. It's contrived. I just don't like it. Whereas the chaos method, I still don't like reversals at all. But if I was going to do reversals, I would use the chaos method, because that is a more accurate depiction of the chaos of the universe coming into order and giving you reversals in a natural, uncontrived form, as opposed to forcing reversals.
Yeah, because I always feel like doing it the other way, I feel like, well, you're sort of picking the cards that are going to be reversed. So it bothers me.
Yes. You know what's worse? You know what's worse? You know when you cut the deck in half and you shuffle them together, like Vegas style?
Yes.
There are people that will take, split the deck in half and turn one of the halves upside down and now rifle them together. And now you've got 50% reversals. What the heck is that? That is not natural, folks. That's not natural.
That is not, it's not natural.
The whole thing is contrived, I'm telling you. And so, when I'm shuffling, for those of you that don't want reversals, like that rifling example I just gave there, you're going to make sure that when you split the deck apart, that you keep the cards going in the same direction and then rifle them back together. That way, and the same thing with hand over hand, or any method you're using of shuffling. And, don't get too fancy with this. You do not have to be a Vegas card shark shuffling expert with cards flying in the air and coming back magically together and, like a magician and all this. You don't have to
do that, though.
I would love to be able to do that, too, but I can't. So, I'm not even going to try. You don't have to do that, though. You don't have to be that fancy about it. Just, rifling them hand over hand. And if you don't know what we're talking about, because we're a radio show and there's no visual, just go to YouTube and type in shuffling cards and also type in shuffling tarot cards. And you'll get many different examples of doing overhands and shuffle and splits and overhands and rifling. And rifling is that zipping sound when you're putting them together and you're going, and then putting them all together. I do a combination, and of course I'm a numerologist. It's all about the 9 numbers. So I do three rifles. Then I will do 3 sets of where I'm cutting the deck and putting the piles back together, and then I'll do 3 of another method, or 3 more rifles. So I'm always actually shuffling the deck 9 times, at least in the beginning.
Wow.
I typically only shuffle once. I typically only, a lot of people shuffle after every single spread, and you can do that if you want. I don't do that. I just keep pulling cards off the top after I do my initial cut. So there's another thing.
Yeah, it's funny, it's like I think the only time that I'm really, dividing it into all these different piles, and I use the number 6 because I don't know what happened or how it happened, because I'm not the numerologist like you are. I'm into it, but I'm not like the expert. But early on, I discovered that, and I do this every time I get a new tarot deck. My initial shuffle of a new deck, I shuffle the deck 7 times, or 6-7 times. I'm not really paying attention when I first get it. Then I take the deck and I start dividing it. I start dealing out the cards into like 6 different piles, because it comes out evenly with 78 cards. So you have the same number, and then I'll put cards that I have 3 piles above and 3 piles below, and I'll kind of put those together and then shuffle those, and then I'll shuffle half of it, and then I'll shuffle the whole deck. And that's what I do every time I get a new deck. I don't know why, but I don't feel right about it unless I've done that initial shuffle that way. And that's without even having, a reading to do. It's just when I get the deck.
Oh, And, that's really, you're seasoning the deck. But, you know what's really interesting about that is that you're not thinking of numerology when, you're not a numerologist and you're not thinking of using numerology, but you're still using numerology because doing it the 6 times is still part of the 9 because 3, 6, and 9 are from the same subgroup of creativity and communication numbers, you see. So whether you shuffle 9 times like I do, which, by the way, I don't shuffle 9 times every time. Sometimes I shuffle 6. But if, and some people might shuffle just 3, which is perfectly fine. If you're shuffling, doing a really good shuffle and do it 3 times, at least 3 times, more than 2, you're good, okay?
Yeah.
But whether I'm doing it 3 times, 6 times, or 9 times, I'm still doing it numerologically because I'm doing it in that same subset. And the thing is that humans are naturally drawn to this for some reason, and we're not sure why. We're drawn to 3s, 6s, and 9s, you see.
Weird.
It's just fast. You don't have to be a numerologist. You'll just automatically do it without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
And it's weird, because if you make like 6 piles of cards, like even piles, they come out evenly. Because I guess, 78 divided by 6 is, 13? I don't know.
Right.
I'm not a math major.
Yeah, but 6, I often do, I didn't mention that, but I often do that too. So I'm glad you brought it up. I often do 6 piles. But it just depends on the client. It depends on, how I feel. I might do 4, I might do 3, but it's typically 3 or 6. And, getting a question from Charlotte Kornberg is also in the chat room at thetarotguild.com/chat. Dax, do you find there's a certain type of fabric that you like for your spread cloth? And I've seen quite a few people that shuffle until a card jumps, and they will shuffle forever waiting for that jumper. I've never understood that. You're not supposed to do that, Charlotte. So second question first is what a jumper is you're shuffling like you normally would, and a card flies out and falls on the ground. I remember my grandmother used to say, you're at the kitchen table or dining room table, and you drop a piece of silverware, your fork or something on the ground. That means company's coming. Expect a knock on the door.
What falls on the floor comes to the door.
Yeah. And so it's the same thing with the tarot deck. If you're shuffling and the card flies out, that's like the universe reaching out with a wet mackerel and slapping you in the face. Yes, this is important. Yeah. But you see, shuffling and continuing to shuffle for like 10, 20 minutes, just trying to get a jumper, is, again, what we were just saying about things being contrived. You see?
Yeah, it's trying to force it. It's trying to force the universe to respond.
Yeah, so, we were talking about forcing reversals. Now you're trying to force something which is only supposed to be an extremely rare occurrence, and that's why it's important. You don't want a jumper on every single reading you do because it loses its significance. And then as far as the spread cloth, I don't know, Mary, is there a fabric that
Yeah,
want
I
something...
mean, people have different preferences. I got a really nice one that's kind of like sort of like a faux leather one, and you want something that's smooth that your cards aren't going to catch on, basically. So silk is fine.
Right.
Anything that's not, like if you use something that's like woven or like knitted or something, your cards might catch on that and get bent.
Yes, exactly. You want a tight
weave.
Weave. Yeah, I can't think of the word for it. Yeah, the putting together of the threads. I guess they call that a weave. Yeah. Okay. So you want a tight weave. So if you remember that a tarot bag. Let's look at tarot bags for a second. The exterior cloth and the design and everything can be anything, but typically the interior is almost always silk. There's a reason for that. There's actually a couple of reasons. One, the main one is so that the cards slide in and out easily. That's the practical reason. The other energetic reason is that it is believed that a tight woven cloth, that's why silk is so, popular in the East, that it prevents the passage of energy. So energy cannot pass through the silk to the cards that are inside of the bag. Same thing with spirits. It's believed that ghosts, spirits on the other side cannot pass through tight woven material like silk, okay? But the main thing is it slides. So my spread cloths are made out of a silk or a faux silk type material where it's very tightly woven. The cards will slide, on there, especially if you're using the chaos method. It has to be that way so that you can slide the cards all around real quickly. Otherwise you're going to have a terrible time trying to do that. So there you go. Hope that answered your question, Charlotte. And she said, do you keep all your decks in tarot bags? No, I don't keep all of my I try to. In fact, when I get a new deck, I try to buy the first thing I do is I go on Amazon, Etsy, eBay, and I look for tarot bags. But not always. Sometimes I've just kept the deck in its original box because it came with a I think it's Schiffer that's known for their really cool boxes, the way they pop open and things like that. And then also wooden boxes and cedar boxes and, different kinds of tarot boxes that are designed for tarot decks. I'll keep some decks in those, and it's decorative, and then, but the ones I work with, I tend to have in bags, yes.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like the ones that I'm working with, I keep in bags. The ones that I am not using or that I just got to collect, I don't take them out of their original box. You want them in their original box if you're collecting them, and generally still wrapped in the cellophane, which sometimes it's not always the case because you just want to see them, right? But what I do is, like, I've got, and I used to put them in socks, right? But because tarot bags, it starts adding up if you're using like a lot of different decks all the time, and I tend to do that. And what I started doing is I have an Etsy subscription. So Etsy, if you don't know, it's one of those, like, it's a $10 a month subscription, and you get like makeup samples and moisturizers and hair products and stuff. And each month with your little products, you get a cosmetic bag, a little cosmetic bag. And those are like perfect for tarot. And to keep the energy out and to keep the deck clear, I keep crystals in there because in those bags you have extra space. You can keep a nice program clear quartz crystal in with your tarot deck. And it's great. So I have all these like cute little bags that are cosmetic bags, and they're generally like vinyl on the outside, and they're lined on the inside, so they're just perfect for tarot cards.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that's for other usages, that really work for tarot, for different kinds of boxes and cloths and different things like that. But if you want something that's specifically designed for, I want to do a plug, Mary, if it's okay with you. I want to plug Ciro Marchetti, my favorite tarot deck creator, because he has made some amazing bags and spread cloths, and they use his digital designs, which are in the decks themselves. And so if you have Ciro's decks, go on his website and look for the accompanying bags and spread cloths and everything. But even if you don't have or use Ciro Marchetti's decks, you still might love his printed spread cloths and bags, and they are designed the way we're talking about, for use, where they everything will slide along them well and everything like that. Yeah. Oh, some people, what they do is they put their deck in the center when they're done. They put their deck in the center of the spread cloth itself, and they fold the cloth around the deck till it's completely folded. And then they may or may not put put that into a bag.
A box.
So you don't really need, if you have a silk cloth as a spread cloth, you really don't need a bag. You just fold the cloth around the deck and then put that in any type of, I mean, it could be a bank bag from, Chase Manhattan, anything with a zipper, right? Just stick it in there, right? You know, I have some folded like that and just stuffed in my my backpack where my computer goes in, and I take that wherever I go. So I always have my laptop and I always have my tarot deck with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
there
I love
you go,
those
folks.
little tarot tins that U.S. Games puts out too. They make these
that's
little
the best.
tarot in those tin boxes, and those are just perfect.
I just love the tins. I got to tell you, that's one of my favorite things. Love those tins. Yeah.
Me too.
I think I'm actually surprised that the manufacturers have not become even more innovative, coming up with with really cool boxes that maybe like a Chinese puzzle type box and it pops open really cool, or a Rubik's Cube looking thing where you spin and then it pops open and there's your tarot. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a designer. I'm just throwing this out there like, come on, Schiffer and U.S. Games and everything. Where's our really cool boxes and cloths and things, and where is this stuff? It's the 21st century.
Exactly.
And we have 2,000 tarot decks. Why don't we have cool things that, the tarot decks have expanded like crazy, but the accompanying accoutrements have not.
Yeah.
Yeah, the accessories have not gotten exciting to me yet. I don't know. Anyway, but I hope you've enjoyed listening to the topic here. I'm sure I've forgotten to talk, Mary and I probably have forgotten something to talk about in regards to shuffling, because there's so much. You would think, shuffling deck, that'll take 5 minutes to talk about. No, it's actually more complicated than you think. Yeah. But if you have any questions for us, get with us in between shows and let us know, and then we'll read your question and answer it live on air next week. We would love to do that.
Yes.
You'll find us both on thetarotguild.com and psychetalk.net as well. And, we're way past the bottom of the hour. We got to squeeze in some calls here. But, Mary, you wanted to let us know about the upcoming shows on the network.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So this week on Psychic Talk Radio, what do we have coming up? Well, tomorrow, Sunday, February 23rd at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, the Magic Universe Show with your host, Sharona Rapsick. You can call in to that show for a tarot mini reading live on the air, and the topic is More Angels of Love. And then on Monday, February 24th, we start out at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, with the Wisdom of the Soul show with your host, Janice Fuchs. And then at 11 a.m. following Janice, we have the Compassionate Light Healing and Guidance show with your host, Catherine Hahn. She's going to be wrapping up her series on living a purpose-filled life. And then on Friday, 28th, Open Lines and Tarot Mini Readings All Show. The Doctors Are In with your host, Dr. Rose Wilkerson and Dr. Dax Carlisle. And you can call in for mini readings. They'll have open lines all show long. And then Dax and I will be back next Saturday, February 29th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, with the Tarot Today show. And we're going to be doing a Psychic Spin episode. I love those, where we're going to be, this time, our Psychic Spin, we're going to be checking out those mysterious signals coming from deep space. There's this repeating signal that's really interesting, and it's time to pull some cards and find out what the heck. Is it first contact?
That's so cool.
Are they here? I'm excited.
Yeah. And by the way, if you, we typically do it the last Saturday of the month. We do Psychic Spin. That's the Psychic Spin segment where we pull cards on something, current, in the news, contemporary, on people's minds. If you have an idea for that, if you want us to look at something do some numerology, pull some cards on a topic, get a hold of Mary and I between shows. Let us know. And we would love to do a psychic spin on a listener-requested topic. Right, Mary?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Absolutely. Charlotte asks, have you seen the box for the new Rebecca Campbell Oracle deck? No, Charlotte, I haven't seen that. Is it really a really cool box? Are you talking about the Work Your Light Oracle cards? Let us know in the chat room. Alrighty. So we've got a bunch of callers on the line here. We're going to take as many as we can, but remember, you can call in tomorrow on Sharona's show. You can call in on Monday, and I'll be back on Friday with Dr. Rose. And then, of course, Mary and I will be back next week, next Saturday as well. Let's see who's been waiting the longest. It looks like area code 610. Caller, where are you calling from, and what's your name?
Pennsylvania. Shayna.
Can you say your name one more time?
Shayna from Pennsylvania.
Shayna?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Great. So how are you doing out there?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Yep. Mary and I are from Pennsylvania. Even though she's in Texas and I'm in Arizona now.
Grew up there.
Okay.
Awesome sauce.
So what did you
want
to talk about today?
Yeah.
I just want to know, just have a little quick mini reading to see what's going to be happening for me.
Okay. And do you have a specific question or a specific area to look into? Or no?
No.
So just a general reading, basically, like what's coming up for you?
Like as far as love.
Love. Okay.
Love and work. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Dex, are you going to go first, or should I go first?
Well, I'm getting all these cards that are looking like it's talking about work, and it starts off with the only major arcana card showing up, the Hermit card. It's like you're taking a step back from something and searching for something. Are you wanting different employment, or what's going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am wanting different employment.
Yep. That's what it's showing me. And then right after that's the Knight of Coins, the Knight of Pentacles. So in practical matters, a slow, steady progress towards your goal is what that's talking about. There's some cards talking about struggles and being overburdened or something like that, and having to strike a balance. That's what's showing up.
Mm-hmm.
But you're definitely going to be able to move into something new. It's going to take some time. And the main thing that I'm getting from this is that you need to focus more, not be too general about it. In other words, I specifically want this job. Get really specific, because when you have too many options, the universe doesn't know what to give you. So that's what's showing up in my cards. Mary, what's showing up for you?
And this is really interesting because I do feel like it's talking about love life. Okay. And we go from the Four of Swords into the Five of Swords with the Ace of Cups above that Five of Swords, Queen of Swords. Are you an air sign? You don't have to be, but sometimes with the Queen of Swords, the person is an air sign. But I do feel like the Queen's kind of represent. No, you are? Okay. So I feel like that's representing. Okay, yeah. You're an air sign. So look, what's interesting about this is with that, the Queen is pointing her sword towards that Five of Swords which is right below that Ace of Cups. So that idea of like love, like for new love, is right there. But it's saying we've got to kind of change our approach to it, And the thing that's interesting is that right after that 5, we have the 3 of Cups. So I feel like when we're talking about love life, we're saying like cultivate the friendship, and the focus that Dax was talking about on your career and on a job and stuff and being very specific, I feel like this is saying like, okay, it's different when it comes to love. That it's not about being so specific, but being more and willing to kind of step outside the box a little bit, really, with the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords like pushes up against our boundaries. So if we want our love life to grow and to expand, we have to like kind of be a bit more open about it and not feel like, okay, this, I want this exact thing, and if somebody doesn't fit the profile, then I'm not even going to look at them. I feel like relationships, friendship is a big factor in that. That 3 of Cups, I feel like go out, have fun, meet people, or if you have somebody already in your life, have a good time with them. Do some fun things, and like let's expand a little bit and loosen up a little bit when it comes to love. But yeah, stay focused when it comes to career. So that's what I got.
Okay.
Awesome. Hope
Cool.
that resonated with you, Shauna. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for the call. And we're going to go to the next caller. We're going to try to zip through some here because we're already at the top of the hour, but we were kind of long on the topic, Mary, but there was just so much to talk about. And
I know. I really thought it would be like 20 minutes. And it's like, oh, my gosh, this is a really in-depth topic when you think about it.
And it was so fun. It was.
Was.
I think, what I think we need to do is we need to do a short video workshop class, maybe on Zoom or something, where there's you and I, and they can see us, and we have our decks, and we're showing the shuffling,
different
and
ways of shuffling, yeah,
and all that kind of stuff. Maybe for the Tarot Guild members on thetarotguild.com. That'd be really cool.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me just a second while I refresh the switchboard, because for some reason the buttons are hanging up, not allowing me to bring the next caller on here, so I'm working on that. And, that is our new social networking website. It's free to join the website. Just go over to thetarotguild.com. At the top of any page, you're going to see a sign-up button. You just click that and sign up, and you can join us on the website. And, it's all the same kind of features that you find on the big social media sites like Facebook, only it's all tarot all the time at thetarotguild.com. Okay, so 770 is the caller that's been waiting the longest. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Shanika calls from Georgia.
Shanika from Georgia?
Hey.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia. Awesome.
How's it going?
Yes, it's going good. I just have a quick question. I met 2 guys online, and both of them seem to be, pretty nice guys. But I was wondering maybe which one would be a better fit for me. I know it's my choice,
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
do you have can you just give me like the first letter of each name, and I can do kind of a comparison?
Yes, A and then R.
A and R. So which one is like, a better fit for you? A or R? Okay. For A and R, A and R. R. Well, what's interesting is they really kind of seem a little about the same. And it's funny, totally different cards I'm pulling up for them. When I look at A, we start out with the Ace of Cups, so, there could be a love match going on there, but we go from the Ace of Cups into the Three of Swords, so we might not be on the same page about things, and Three of Swords, you don't want to see that on a love prospect, because you think, like, ouch, I could get hurt. Now, that doesn't mean you can't recover from it, but I feel like, there might be, like, get to know each other a little bit better before we really, like, fully, go in, And then I am with the Moon card, So the Moon card, there's, like, things that are, sort of unclear, uncertainty around the Moon card. But, it also says, again, it's pushing that idea of, like, reflection. Let's think about A a little bit more. He maybe needs to show us a little bit more. They're probably both nice guys, like you said, but I feel like, A, we got to get to know a little better. And then when we look at R, interesting. We start off with the Star card. It's all major arcana cards for R. The Star into the Death card into the Hanged Man. So this could start out like really hopeful, and with the Death card, very rarely is it about death. It's about transformation and change and transitioning. And the Hanged Man is like the willingness to let go. And sometimes, things take a while, as we go through changes with them. So, to me, neither one of them is really jumping out as a great love match. But let's see what Dax is getting.
Awesome sauce. Let's take a look here at what we're getting. So right off the bat, the main card that I got for R is the Four of Wands. This card of celebration, can even be a wedding reception. To me, getting that card is really, really positive. And because I got to say, I'm not getting a lot of the romantic cards in general for either. You know what I mean, Mary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like there's positive and negative cards for both individuals, and it's really up in the air. I don't think I don't think you know enough, for one thing. But yeah, that's the main thing I'm getting. And 4 is structure, and today is that 22/4 energy day, and it's like all my intuition just is flying over there. However, for the A individual, I'm getting the King of Coins. So maybe a more stable, especially financially stable situation with that person. And also as a supporting card, I get the Page of Cups with him. And that's always nice to see. That's, because cups are emotions and relationships, and it's like he's the romantic. It could be more a more romantic situation. However, the Nine of Swords shows up, so you could be kept up nights with worries and things with this individual. Yeah, but then going back over to R, I got the Queen of Coins, which is the nurturing energy, but I also got the Five of Cups, which is loss and sorrow and broken relationships. Okay, so I'm like, man, it could really go either way with either individual. I still think there's a better chance, just my gut instinct, with R. Okay. And, with the Queen of Pentacles showing up for him and the Page of Cups for A, I would say that, you go with A if you want the more romance, and then you go with R if you want the more nurturing type of situation, if that makes sense. So I don't know if any of this resonates with you, but
yes,
that's what's coming through.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Well, thanks for the call.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Yep. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And do we have time to take another call or two, Mary?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, by the way,
I think we do.
Charlotte popped in some pictures in the chat room. And so, even if you're listening in archive, if you go over to thetaroguild.com/chat and go inside the main room, you'll still see these pictures of the Starseed Oracle. And it does actually have this really cool box that opens in a certain way that creates this V shape. And then you're able to, I guess you're supposed to put the cards in this V shape, and then another card floats on top. I can't explain it. You have to visually see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean that's the coolest thing I've ever seen as far as a box for an Oracle deck or a tarot deck. Yeah, that's from Charlotte Karnberg. Thank you, Charlotte. We got to get Charlotte back on the air. I know she's getting resituate. She had some issues over the end of last year, and things are getting better, and I'm hoping she'll be able to pop back on with us. Let's see who's been waiting the longest now. Yeah, I love chatting with Charlotte. We can just have her on as a guest.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, I want. She's actually gone back to taking my Tarot by the Numbers course on the TarotGuild.com website, and so when she's all done with that and gets certified and everything like that, I want to have her on to talk about her experience going through the course and going through the certification process at all.
Cool.
Okay, so it looks like area code 216 is next. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, hi. My name is Patricia, calling from Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you for taking my call.
Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Hi. I would like to ask, should I take out a medical loan? And I'm dealing with a health matter, which I don't want to go into specifics.
Yeah, we don't.
But I want to use naturopathic alternative methods as opposed to the usual conventional things that are quite toxic and that
so you
sort
want
of
to know
thing.
if you should take out a loan, basically, right?
A medical loan, yeah.
Okay.
To pay for those treatments and services and
the ones
sort
that
of
aren't
thing.
covered by insurance, because a lot of that's not covered by insurance, is what you're saying.
Well, I don't have insurance at all. And the treatments that I want are naturopathic alternatives. And so.
Sounds good. Yes, I think that, so the Ace of Coins shows up, and that is a good indication that, this is a good start for the situation financially, being able to handle it, and I'm getting a bunch of yeses here that, this is definitely the way to go. It really is. The Chariot card shows up, which is a card of endurance. It's a card of journeys and triumphs in adversity, strife leading to victory. It's a very good sign here. However, I would say that you need to do some further research on the loan itself. At least I think that's what it's indicating here. That's what I'm getting is.
All right.
Meaning. Don't go like, okay, the first thing that comes along, it's like, okay, I'm just going to take this loan from this particular company. Do your due diligence. Really research it out. Don't go with the first thing that pops up. Make sure that you get the best deal that you can get.
Mm-hmm. Now,
really
where I'm living at, where it's not always has not been a really constructive experiences here. I'm dealing with a lot of karma and energy and psychic attacks and so on and so forth. And I don't particularly want to deal with some of the banks here because I plan to move later on this year to another state. Now, the site that I have been researching on and that offers the treatments, they have suggestions of where, I might, anyone could apply for a medical loan. Should I go with what's on their suggested websites, or look at a loan from the bank here where I'm living?
Interesting. Well, the card that's talking about, continuing your research and really, checking everything out before making a decision is the Page of Wands. Okay, and another aspect of this card is typically foreign travel. The card indicates that it has the three pyramids like Egypt in the background there. This person, the person in the image has a traveling cloak, a walking stick. It's a card of, sometimes it is referring to foreign travel. But the main thing is that with all the pages, we're talking about learning, and the individual in this card in the traditional Waite-Smith version is intently inspecting and looking at the wand. He is, carefully examining it. So that's where the aspect comes from of, you want to be really careful and check out all the companies. Don't take this one just because it's on this website. Don't do a local bank just because it's local. In fact, with the foreign aspect of this card, it could be indicating going with a financial institution that might not even be in this country. Okay? So I'm just throwing that out there. Do a lot more research. Now, let's see what Mary's got on this. She might have some further insight.
Yeah, well, it's really similar to what Dax says. I also got the Chariot card, and I was going to say, make sure you're not overlooking any options, because I got the Four of Cups, and that can be a card where, there's something being offered to us, or there's an opportunity, but we're not even going to consider it, so we miss out. So I agree with him. And the Hermit card comes up too, which is a card of contemplation. So with the Chariot card, I feel like both of us getting the Chariot card is answering your question like, yes, this is a good idea for you to go this route of getting a medical loan. But look at all the options. Take your time to consider them and kind of weigh the differences. And the one other card that comes up here is the Five of Cups. Now, that's a card of like emotional letdowns or disappointments. It's underneath everything, so it's in that sort of pushed down kind of, the energy of it is sort of pushed away. So it's saying like don't make this as a emotional decision, which is a funny thing for the cards to say, because of course it's going to be emotional. This is our health we're talking about here, right? Yeah. Our emotions are engaged. But so take some time. But yeah, I think it's a great idea for you. So that's what I got.
Okay. Yeah, because the treatment facilities, they are in another country. Okay. All right. All right.
All right. Well, thanks for calling.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, there you go. That's why that foreign energy was coming up there, and
interesting.
If there are treatments in foreign countries, they might already have financing, through their financial institutions or something like that, is a possibility. The other thing to do is to go to not one, but go to several naturopath offices locally, or with the internet and a telephone, you can get in contact with anybody anywhere, right? And talk to the front desk people. Talk to them about medical loans. What's a really reputable, good company. You could, and that's what I mean by really, really do your research. It's not the first thing you type in on Google and you take the first thing that pops up in a search.
Yeah.
You got to put more energy in it than that. Travel physically to some doctor's offices and talk to people about medical loans. Call some naturopaths up on the phone. Go to their website. Go to their website. Sometimes there's a link.
Yeah. Because you don't want to miss out. That to me was when I saw the Four Cups, I was just like, okay, we might be missing something. It's like right there. we're not considering it. We're not looking at it. So that's a good idea, is to check with those offices. They know.
Oh, wow. And, I wanted to mention real quick, do we have time for another call, you think? Or what do you want to do?
Sure. Let's do one more.
Okay, so we're going to do one more call, and the rest of you, if we don't get to your call, remember to call in tomorrow on Sharona's show. Or if you really want Mary and I, because you love us so much, we'll be back next Saturday. Anyway, and don't forget, you can book a private session in between shows. That's right. You can go over to Mary's page, psychitalk.net/Mary, and I'm psychitalk.net/Dax, and you can book sessions with us. That's right. Oh, you mentioned Cooch and her horrible accident there with the poor client cutting their finger and bleeding all over her good deck and destroying her deck. Well, in the mail yesterday, I got a copy of her brand new book, Mystic Spirit Tarot Playbook by Cooch Daniels.
Awesome.
I got my signed
cool.
autographed copy from Cooch, and in fact, I just put a picture of myself holding the book up on our Psychic Talk radio group. So psychitalk.net/Facebook will take you right over there, or if you're on Facebook, type in Psychic Talk Radio. And remember, there's a page. You can like the page, and you want to go to the group. You'll find this picture of me holding the Mystic Spirit Tarot Playbook by Cooch Daniels. I'm so excited. And by the way, I did the foreword in the book.
Awesome.
So when you open up the book, look for the foreword. That's me. I'm so excited. And I'll put that also on our Tarot Guild group and the other groups as well. That's something we didn't mention. I know you mentioned the Psychic Talk group at the beginning of the show, but we'd also like you to come join, if you're into tarot and numerology, come join the Tarot Guild group. And you can just search the Tarot Guild on Facebook or type in thetarotguild.com/Facebook. Will take you there as well. And we just had another 38 people join in the last 24 hours, Mary. Oh, my God. Where they're all coming from. We're up to 5,000. Yeah, it's awesome. We're up to 5,749 members now on the Tarot Guild group. I just can't believe it. It's like gangbusters. So go over there and join us if you're into tarot, numerology, all the things that we chat about over there. So let's see, who's going to be the lucky last caller that we take here? Who's been waiting the longest? Area code 916 has been waiting the longest. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Ray. I'm calling from West Sacramento.
Cool.
West Sacramento. Awesome.
Yep. So, thanks for taking my call. I just have a question. Maybe you guys can help me. I just started a new job here, but I have passions and aspirations, and just not sure what you guys see, maybe what comes up in my card. I'll tell you, some of it has to do with political office, media, strategizing and stuff like that. And just wondering maybe what you get.
I don't know, Mary, I don't know if I'm quite getting it. Are you getting it? The question, I really am not fully understand. You said something about your well, it's really hard to understand because it sounds like you're on speakerphone or something like that. It's kind of muffled, kind of like you're talking out of a cave or something, a little bit hard to hear. And it sounded like you said something about, you mentioned some stuff, and then you said something about being passionate about something else, or you have some passion.
Yeah. So I started my career, and it's not my passion where I'm at now. I have other aspirations.
Okay.
And I think that there's a road ahead of me, but I just started this job, but I have many aspirations in the next 6 months to a year. Because the job that I'm in, I work in communications, and it's not the type of communications that I want. I've been unemployed for 10 months. I got the job. It's work experience. This is not where I want to end up.
Right.
But with my passions and aspirations and what I would want to do, I just want to see what you get.
Right. So do we see you like being able to achieve your dreams and goals that you have for yourself, to be able to, have a career that you're passionate about, right?
Yeah. So, for example, like I have a passion for politics. I'm helping people run. But when I see them run, there's 3 of them. Actually, in the last 2 years, there's been 5 of them. And each one of them, I'm like, just give me the damn mic and I'll do it myself.
All right. Well, let's just take a look at that. So are you going to be able to get on that path to achieving your goals, to being able to have a career that aligns with your aspirations and with your passions? And are you far off the path? You said, what you're doing is not really what you're passionate about, but is it part of the journey,
Right.
That's how I'm going to approach it, and just see what comes up in the cards here.
I got some good stuff.
And go ahead.
I think I was supposed to go next anyway. I think I was supposed to go first next anyway. I don't know. Did you go first last time, or did I go? I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, now that we've clarified it, holy cow, I was just not getting that. And I think it was because, it sounds like he's in traffic. There's a lot of road noise. I had to put the line on hold. Sorry about that, Ray. I had to put your line on hold temporarily. And because there was just way too much background noise, I was having a really hard time understanding what he was saying. And, just trying to fit that into that puzzle, into making it into a question, that we can ask the tarot. Because it's all about the question,
Yeah.
And just looking at it as a yes, no, right off the bat, I get definitely you're going to be able to do what you're passionate about. It's a no-brainer. Absolutely. And in fact, the strength of the cards here it's indicating to me that, really that's what you're supposed to be doing. And no, it's not related to what you're doing now. What you're doing now is a stepping stone. It is a placeholder. It is I've been out of work for 10 months. I took the job. I'm making a little bit of money while I get ready to do what I'm really supposed to be doing. Okay? And the spread starts off with, so I get, 4 out of 5 yes cards in this, and 2 of them are major arcana cards. So we're talking about life-changing situation here. Okay, so very strong yes. You're going to be moving onward and upward. In fact, that's the very last card, which I'll get to in a second. But the first card is the 7 of Wands, and that is resilience and, how you approach the struggle, but eventual victory. And in the traditional Waite-Smith version of the card, the individual looks like he's in a fighting stance. He's on the top, the very, apex of the hill. He's at the top of the hill, and there's these other 6 wands pushing up at him, But the main thing to notice is, hey, he's got the high ground. You have the high ground. And part of that is what a lot of people don't have in this life. They don't know what it is they're supposed to be doing. They haven't found the passion. You already have the passion. You already know what you're supposed to be doing. That's 80% of the game right there. And then the very next card is the Fool card, taking that leap of faith, going for it. So what are we saying? You keep doing what you're doing, job-wise, keep the money flowing in, but you need to get going on this. You need to not wait around for it to happen. You need to jump in and just start doing it. Feet first, just jump into it, go for it. The very next card is the Lover's card, and it's talking about partnerships. And today is a day. It's a grouping numerologically of all that 2 energy, where it's 2, 2, 2, 2020, or 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Lots of 2s there, and the day is the 22nd, the master builder number, which further reduces to 4 structure. We talked about this in the beginning of the show, that today is the day to work on partnerships. Okay, so I feel that you're going to be able to partner up with somebody and take the leap and get the next phase going way before you end the current job that you're in now. So you're going to continue the current job, but you're going to not wait for the right situation to happen, but you're going to jump right into it now and get it going. And then that's going to lead to things. I get the Six of Pentacles. So that is a repayment. It is a windfall. It is good fortune, a loan coming through, giving and receiving what you deserve, karma coming through, good fortune, sharing. It'll then start to flow, and then what you're able to do is put everything else. I'm getting as the very last card, Eight of Cups. Cups is emotional too, because it's cups, and 8 is the number of abundance in numerology, and this is when it's really going to happen for you. And in the card, the individual has taken care of their baggage. They've lined everything up nice and neatly, and they're moving away from the stack of cups, onward and upward, up the side of a hill. They have their walking cloak and their walking stick, and they're moving onward and upward to bigger and better things. And this is when you're going to be able, at this point, to leave the job you're doing now for the money. You're leaving the muggle job and going and doing what you're really supposed to be doing. That's what I'm getting. What about you, Mary? Any other tidbits for Ray?
Yeah, again, it's kind of along those same lines. I do think that it does have to do with partnerships. I have two kings that come up here. One of these could be Ray. We have the King of Swords and we have the King of Pentacles. But also, kind of the way I have these spread out here, it looks like, he goes from somebody who's like focused on, he's like with this job that he's in right now. It's a practical job for him to be doing. It's bringing the money, it's paying the bills. But the King of Swords, that's like when we can put our ideas into action. I also have the Ace of Cups, and I end on the Three of Cups. So I feel like there's going to be a partnership involved with this, somebody that may even kind of help point him in the right direction or give him some guidance or assistance, because the Hierophant is overlooking everything else. So I think that, you're going to be able to get on that path to chase your dreams and to pursue your passions. But I do think that that's through forming partnerships with like people that are going to be helpful to you. So that's what I got.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the out of all of that, answering yes to the main question, but I think out of all of that for Ray, I'm sorry? What did you say, Mary? Did I lose you?
Oh, no, I'm here. Go ahead.
I thought you jumped in with something there. Okay. So what I was saying was for Ray that, the overall, is a yes to the original question. And a lot of different information there coming through. But the main takeaway is this partnership thing, that's what's really going to help you, is partnering with somebody. It could be you like me and Mary, you partner with somebody to do a podcast, on this topic, and a YouTube channel and just, and that's where the leap of faith with the Fool card comes in, where you just, you're not waiting, you just jump in, start doing shows, YouTube, Blog Talk, build a website, do all this stuff, which then culminates to the Eight of Cups, where you're able to like, okay, I can put this job away and quit this job, and now I'm really doing what I'm passionate about, and I'm making money. So I hope that resonates with you, Ray, there.
Yes, it very much did. Thank you, guys. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it very much did. I'm helping 3 different candidates. One of them has worked in the White House themselves, and so I'm making a lot of these connections. I'm volunteering my time. I'm actually just got done volunteering my time right now with one of their candidates too. And the partnership, rung true, and just paying the bills and having this be a stepping stone where I'm at right now makes total sense.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for the call, Ray.
Hey, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. You're going to have to let us know what happened. This could be big stuff, But basically what it comes down to with that is, figuring out how to turn your passion into income. In other words, what value can you create for other people that is going to allow you to make a good income besides just doing what you enjoy doing. I mean, you can go to work for candidates and get paid, but that's not the same as what we're talking about, having your own business, right, Mary? And and a lot of times it's voluntary anyway, what you're doing for different candidates. It's a lot of, some of it might be paid, or a lot of it, or even all of it, could be completely voluntary work, which is great, and you're able to make great connections and things like that. But then how do you turn that, and that's what you have to do, is you got to find a like-minded person that you can partner with, and the two of you, what can you do to provide value where you solve a problem and you're going to receive income from that? You're solving a problem somehow. So there you go. We'll leave it at that, and we are at the end. We're way at the end of this show. Oh, my gosh. So much fun. I had so much fun.
Yes. Me too.
We just got to start doing 2-hour shows. Anyway, but I don't know if people want to listen to us for 2 hours. It's funny. Yesterday, I went to hit the outro, and I started playing the outro to your new show, The Rock. There's a Rock for That, and I had to stop it real quick, and then I went to play the outro, which on Fridays it's the regular Psychic Talk Network outro, and it said I accidentally hit the outro for this show. Because when I uploaded the intro and the outro to your show, it moved everything around, so it's not exactly where it was. And I'm so used to 2 years of pushing the button in the same spot, it totally threw me off yesterday. It was hilarious. Anyway, love the new music, and There's a Rock for That is going to premiere the first Saturday of March.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to bring back my old new show.
Awesome sauce. Yeah. Well, thanks to all our listeners and all of our callers, and thank you, Mary, for being there as always. And just going to say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you, Dax. Bye,
goodbye,
everybody.
Mary.
Bye, Dax.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night, Mary Ellen.